Tod Schneider, and I spent last year cheerleading the Homeless Veterans Project in the city of Eugene, and City Manager's office, Pat, and Kitty, and Reagan back somewhere, and a number of you. And then I retired, and I got to do everything for free. A nice shift, and it was a nice shift because I got to find out what I really was driven to do from the heart rather than from the hills. And that's a very liberating experience, other than pay the bills part, which then goes by the wayside. But that gave me a chance to start working on things that I really saw were effective and mattered and touched me. So one of those is working on the refugee project. I get to be a cultural navigator for our first Syrian family here in town, and that's been a humbling experience for me. I know how to say squirrel in Arabic, but beyond that, I'm not so good at it. So being their concierge and friend for the community has been educational. When I'm not doing that, I'm working with community-supported shelters, and they're an amazing group that really made a deep impression on me when I was working on patrol in the police department for years. Eventually, starting a few years ago, as they got on their feet, I started dropping by and seeing what they were doing. And the more I met them, the more impressed I became. It's a really wonderful, wonderful, warm experience to come across people whose hearts are so pure and they are doing work that is so powerful. And so I would run into Eric and Faye, who's hiding in the corner, and hear from them about what they're up to. And each time I get more and more impressed. And so they caught me when I wasn't looking and said, "Okay, serve on our board." So that's what I'm doing now, and become a freelance homeless advocate. And I'm thrilled to have you all here today. Although I worry a bit about preaching to the choir is such a receptive bunch, and a lot of you have Conestoga huts on your properties now. Have a show of hands of people who already have Conestoga huts. So there's a bunch of people who didn't raise their hands, so maybe some of you are possible future owners of huts. What we do is we put these huts on your property, and they are much nicer places to shelter than a tent for somebody who needs a place to stay. We've got our rest stops set up around town that now have the capacity for 80 homeless people between our 4 camps. They were started with everybody being really scared of doing anything for the homeless because everybody's going to come to your community and it's going to be a terrible thing. And nothing terrible has happened, and in fact, many of the skeptics have been slowly coming around and saying, wow, that seems to be working. Even the police are saying nice things about these camps. And Cahoots, our outreach program, has their own hut at each camp that they can use for their folks who they pick up, and they say, I just need a place to put him for a little while so he can recuperate from whatever he's going through. We're seeing really consistently that people are recovering from trauma, huge trauma in their lives, and isolation. And what Faye and Eric have built there really addresses that. It builds a sense of community and hope and tenderness and open-heartedness. And all of you are invited to be part of this. Faye will be here this afternoon to meet in the small groups. But we'd love to have people come for tours at the camps to see how that works, to see the Conestoga huts and see what they're all about. Most people come through the camps and they say, wow, this is really great. And when we tell them how affordable it is, their jaws drop. And they say, that's crazy, we could so easily fund one of those. So we can put a hut in and take care of everything surrounding it for a year for the equivalent of about $2,500. Housing something for a year, $2,500, and doing the casework. That's crazy that we're not doing more of that. We can put an entire camp in for a year for $60,000 and house 20 people over the course of that period of time. So it's beginning to catch on. People are coming from far and wide to see these things. We still haven't gotten our own city council to come visit the camps. I'd really like to see that happen. Governor Leslie. I'd like to have your councils from far and wide come and visit too. We're glad to come and talk. We do everything we can to make it affordable and easy for you to get the information and to have us come in. So thank you very much for coming.